Hi.
Hi.
Oh, we did a little, we always do a little chit chat in the backstage before we start the show, but I didn't notice this green eyeshadow. Okay, okay. We gonna get to it because of course we're gonna do our fit check. But anywho, happy Monday morning. Welcome to Track Girl Summer. I am your host, Natasha Hastings, and this is my co-host, Kori Carter. Oh, we're bringing the culture to track and field. Thanks for joining us. Why is Kori frozen? Kori Carter. Happy Monday morning. Yes, Royston, we live, we live, we live. I don't know what's happening here, what's going on with Kori, why she's frozen, but I'm just gonna keep on going till we figure it out. Okay, she's calling back in. Um, all right.
Amy?
You there? Wait, what? Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
I don't know what's going on, but we love technical difficulties
Good old
on Track Girl
technical
Summer.
difficulty. Good morning. Good Monday morning. All right, let's do this over. Let me start over. Welcome to Track Girl Summer. I am your host Natasha Hastings, and we are joined by my co-host Kori Carter, and we're here to bring the culture to track and field.
Oh, Track Girl Summer. Track Girl Summer. I went up like an octave. I would say that was going up an octave. So
Aye, aye,
great.
aye. Follow me, Natasha Hastings, Twitter, IG, Facebook, YouTube. Follow the Kori Monster, Twitter, IG, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Most importantly, follow Track Girl Summer. If you're here, you should be watching from Track Girl Summer. Me. Excuse me. It's Monday, y'all. It's Monday. You should be watching and be subscribed to the Track Girl Summer YouTube channel, but also follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We're stepping up our social media game. We got our schedule all done for the week, so y'all don't have to be hanging in the cliffs trying to figure out what's going on with Track Girl Summer. We got a program coming to you. So with that, right now, we're streaming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There will be some changes, so stay tuned, okay? But we are still going to consistently bring the content to you all right? So we're streaming this Monday, here we are, Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. A little bit of an announcement. We had to change things up a little bit this morning. Our originally planned guest, Michelle Freeman, had a family emergency, and so we are sending her our prayers, her and her family. And of course, we plan to reschedule. Haven't had that conversation because that's not important right now. We're just going to let her deal with her family. And when we are able to reschedule, we'll let you know. But in the meantime, we still keep the fire coming. So we still have an amazing guest this morning. We will be joined by none other than the Ajee Wilson, Kori's best friend. So, the shenanigans. These shenanigans will continue this morning. Last bit of housekeeping, Track Girl Summer merchandise is available. Get your trucker hat, get your tees, trackgirlsummer.com. Add that to the list of things and places where you follow us. And all of the orders have gone out this weekend. So unless you placed an order this weekend, let us know that you got our stuff. Hope you love your stuff, your merchandise. And yeah, let's get into the thing. So up first, we always have our fit check.
You want to go first? Do you want to go second? You want to go
I
first?
can go first because I'm still rocking the mommy. So I had a poopy morning. If you saw my Instagram story, you know what I'm talking about. But I did get a workout in, so my hair was not dry. My twist out was not dry enough for me to take it out. So I'm rocking a wig.
Oh.
I don't remember. I think this is a her given hair wig.
It's blended.
Yeah, she's giving life. She's giving life. Still curly girl energy, but 400 meter diva on the eyes and lips. I had to go back to my war paint because the devil is trying it this morning. But you can't kill my vibe, devil. Okay, so the war paint is the vibe today. Available on 400mdiva.com. I'm rocking the merch. Track Girl Summer, available on trackgirlsummer.com. Some mom shorts.
Okay, let me know you got a little something today.
It's a co-ord. You know, I got the sweatshirt to go with it, and then I'm rocking my UA Hover Apexes again. So that's my fit check today.
I'm just wearing a little croppy toppy with my overalls. These are the overalls I like to do my construction work in, and then just little chrome threes, and then the baby kept it dimple. He's in his harney today,
not Kovu,
but he said in honor of our special guest, he's got the Ajee Wilson pin on because he's a fan as well of his auntie. Can you see the pin?
We see the pin.
So, give me a little shadow.
Yes, shadow realness. I love it.
Into like a half down. Yeah, I'm really excited about today. I was thinking about our lineup today, or for this whole week, and I feel like the guest is literally just for me. It's my best friend on Monday, my coach on Wednesday, and one of my biggest inspirations on Friday. So it's all about me this week.
I just like to throw out that your biggest inspiration is a Gamecock. So it's not all about you, but
I mean, I had a poster up on my wall growing up, so I'm excited. And I saw earlier, D-Man asked, does Track and Girl Summer continue into the fall? I wonder, and what do I tell you at the end of every show? Doesn't matter what time it is. It's always Track Girl Summer. So yes, we will be doing fall, winter content, okay? Don't worry, we got y'all. It will be more interviews, and we might have some announcements about how we will be doing those interviews. But we will be coming consistently.
And other content. We'll be not moving away from the interviews, but we'll be diversifying our content.
Diversity, inclusion. Well, before our guest of the day comes on, just a little track updates for you guys. So I think there's one more Continental Tour Gold Series, that's Zagreb, that starts today and tomorrow, which I'm really excited about because I feel like a lot of athletes are closing out their season there, and there's going to be some really good matchups. Ryan will be going up against the rest of the field. I really feel
Ryan
like
Krauser.
Yeah, sorry. But honestly, at this point, he's a one-name diva. Like, Whitney, okay, Mariah, it's just a one name. Y'all should know who we're talking about. But yeah, Ryan Kovacs, Joe is going to be throwing that shot. We've got a lot of Americans in the pole vault. We've got Sam Kendricks, Casey Lightfoot, Christopher Nielsen. So I'm excited to see them battle it out. Karani James and Isaac McQuala are going up against each other in the 400. Mike Cherry said, I got my trophy. I'm good. I've run consistently I've been running consistently all year. It's a wrap. And then I think the two hottest races, I feel like, it's going to see Sharika Jackson and Christine go up against each other again. I feel like they've been battling all summer. And then I feel like the race of the meet is going to be the men's 110 hurdles with Ronald, Barchi, and Devon. So it's gonna be a good little
Your
meet.
Barchi sounds more Italian than Jamaican, but I'm gonna let you rock.
Honestly, I feel like first of all, I wasn't really trying to do a Jamaican accent because when I try to do a Jamaican accent, I feel like it's disrespectful because it's so difficult. It's problematic. Would you like to say Parchi then?
Pachi. I would also like to say Zagreb is one of my favorite meets on the circuit. It's usually, in my experience, if Brussels wasn't my last meet, Zagreb was my last meet. Always a good time, good crowd turnout. It's usually a bit cold and sometimes rainy, but it's still, the fans are great. Matchups are great. They take care of the athletes there. Zagreb's pretty cool.
And from the last Continental Tour Gold Series, one thing Val's going to do is throw that discus. And she broke her own North American area record and the American record. She threw 71.16. She entered the top 20 discus throwers of all time, and she's the first person to do that since 1993. So to say I must go ahead and say she's the best discus thrower of this era at this point. And then broke Addy Zero Road to Records road running meet. So Teferi from Ethiopia broke the women's 5K world record at 14:29, and Terup broke the 10K world record for a women-only race, and she ran 30:01. So, yeah, stuff's still happening, even though the season's winding down. So, yes. And I am going to do some manual work. I have some yard work to do today. But I also just really like overalls in general. They're one of my favorite things to wear. But yeah. Is Ajee here, Natasha? I thought I heard her.
She is here, but I don't see her. So she's probably, here she is. All right. She's here.
Well, can I please give the intro?
Before you do that, guys, remember to do the things, share, like, subscribe. If you like, it pushes us up the algorithm to bring more folks to the party. So don't be stingy. Share us with your friends, share us with your family, send text, tweets, telemessages that they need to come and watch Track Girl Summer and like the videos and all the things. Okay, do your thing, Kori.
Okay. We have the baddest and the realest coming on the show today. She's a 2-time Olympian. She is a world champion bronze medalist from 2017 and 2019 in the 800. She's a silver world indoor medalist from 2018. She's an 11-time U.S. champion. She's won indoor U.S. championships from 2013 to 2020. And she's won the outdoor championships in 14, 17, 18, and 19. She's the second fastest American woman outdoors in the 800 of all time. She's a former American record holder up until this year, and she is the American record holder in the indoor 800 meter. And she's also my best friend.
Oh, wait, what happened? Y'all see all my mess.
Right now?
Go ahead.
What did you say?
Do you think?
She looked good. Wow, you look good, friend.
All right, hold on.
Did you take a picture of you being on Track Girl Summer?
We're live for Track Girl Summer.
Wait, take another picture.
I did.
Don't.
To put it to all this stuff.
Take a different picture.
Starting. All right, I'll just take it towards the camera. That makes more sense, huh? I hope I don't got no crazy tab.
No, do it how you did it the first time. I just didn't I had the wrong camera on the screen. I knew I was going to mess something up. It's Monday. Okay. All right. Let's get into the things. How are you?
I'm good. I had a little bit of a panic getting ready, so I'm sorry I'm not officially Track Girl Summer prepared. So the fit check is not official. I threw in some hoops, try to get my hair cute.
You look good to
stay
me.
in trend with the standard that I know I've come to expect on Track Girl Summer. So,
Okay.
yes.
She says
Mine-
she's ready.
I see you every day, but like you look so cute, friend.
You do look good. I don't know why you don't think that your track girl summer ready.
My fit check is, guys. I tried to do a little Ivy Park, but I didn't have time, so it's a little bit of Ivy. What is going on?
I love the realness of it though. I love the realness of it.
I said I gotta get ready. I can't be late.
You what I appreciate is you started the show off with a shenanigan, which is why the shenanigan is the foundation of me and Ajee's friendship. If y'all didn't know
what I learned, I was like, I did not know this Ajee existed, but let's get into it. Kori, stay on.
This is not a FaceTime, a regular scheduled FaceTime.
Exactly.
I think
I'm gonna act great. That's a lie. That's a lie. I apologize. Well, let's get into your origin story. How did you start running track?
So I started running track when I was 9.
I
did everything. What'd you say? Okay.
I said I don't know the answer.
So I did everything under the sun beforehand. I tried soccer, basketball, softball. I was trash at that. And my little sister started running track, and she would come home and tell me how fun it was. Oh my gosh, I have so many friends, and my coach is so nice. And so I came to practice, and I loved it. I loved that it was an individual sport, but it was still like that team aspect. And I just kept running since then. I would say in high school is when my parents were like, okay, you can't do the other sports you've been doing, because soccer I thought was going to be like my thing. So high school is when I just stuck to track, and that was all I did.
It's so funny imagining you on the soccer field. I don't know why.
Why?
Okay.
I think it's aggressiveness. You think soccer, you think aggressive, and apparently, like, I don't exude that. But no, we got down.
And we're gonna get into why you don't exude aggressiveness a little bit later. But
I don't think that's necessarily true.
Okay.
That you don't exude an aggressive. At least your race style to me is aggressive. So I wouldn't necessarily make that. I could see you being aggressive in soccer, because I feel like if an 800 runner goes out to the front from the start, which to me is your running style, which I later learned, like, yeah, that don't necessarily be the plan, but somehow I be in the front.
It just happened.
But you, to me, race aggressively, so I can see you playing an aggressive team sport too. Okay.
Good. Okay.
She started racing aggressively. That was her original. Okay, but Natasha and I have talked about how not everyone is you, and that not everyone can go pro straight out of high school, and not everyone is you in that when they do go pro straight out of high school, they have such a long, successful career like you are having. And so can you talk about your decision going pro, and also like the transition? Because I think a lot of people see Ajee Wilson, this amazing talent, but it took you a while to get there. It was a journey.
It did. And I think it's a little bit kind of like that goes on the wayside, because I've been around for a minute. So it's like she's always there, but I feel like I've just now kind of found my own and started to see some like true success. So I randomly, well, not randomly, I visited all my schools and I picked Florida State. I just loved the team aspect. I loved the campus. And maybe 2 weeks before I was supposed to go down there, I was watching the Olympics. And I think making it to the semis made it through in like 201 or like 202 or something like that. And I was just watching like, oh my gosh, like I'm right there. And the next opportunity that I have to like be at that level, because making teams, traveling was kind of what kept me going.
Is that me?
That has happened at least once in our last 3 broadcasts. While I talk mess, let me make
But I'm
sure
like,
Do Not Disturb is on. Yep, it's on.
but my is on. I'm so confused. Also, I did my camera. Guys, just
I had to double check it wasn't me.
We listening,
y'all pray
Ajee.
for me.
Okay.
And I don't know what's not working.
Keep going, Ajee.
Go.
Kori will get it together.
So yeah, traveling was one of the things that kind of attracted me to the sport from like a young age. So, and of course getting the gear, and I hadn't been out of the country until I started like running seriously. And so the next chance that I had to do that was 2013 at the World Champs. And one of the things I noticed on my visits, all the girls that I talked to were like, okay, like when you come to college, just be prepared to suck for a year. Like you're going to have to get used to being in college. You're probably going to gain some weight. Like you're probably going to be trash for your first year. And for me, because making that team was important, I just didn't want to chance it. So I was just like, I'll just stay with my coach for a year. I know that what we do works. Derek and I started working together my junior year. And so the original plan was just to stay with him for a year. And after the year, I would go down to Florida State and have the college experience. And a few months
I knew that was the plan. Okay.
I was just going to defer a year.
To be clear, you were like, I'm not missing a chance to go out of the country. So I'll just get college for a year.
Well, at the time, Shelby Ash, she was, I think, either a shot putter or a discus thrower at the time. And she deferred the year before. So that kind of put in my head that it was possible. And after that, she went to school. So I'm like, oh, no big deal. And I remember when I called the coach, she's like, I think she said something about like professional running is different. And I got off the phone and I said, yeah, my coach Harvey was talking about professional running. I don't know what she was talking about. Like I'm coming next year. And I think that was her just kind of knowing how things work. But at the time, I didn't even know professional running was a thing. Like I wasn't a fan of the sport. I did it because I loved it. I did it because my best friends did it. My sister did it. And it was just something that I enjoyed doing. So a few weeks before then, my mom was asking questions, asking people for advice, just what opportunities were out there. And there was interest from Adidas, and they said, hey, if you want to run for us, we'll pay for school. And to me, that was always like the ultimate goal. Like I didn't have, which I feel like is unique, aspirations of like, oh, I want to be an Olympian, or oh, I want to be a record holder, or like actually do track. It was just, I knew I had to get school paid for. So that was the initial goal of like any sport, was to just get a scholarship. So when they said they pay for school, it was like, well, and I get a couple dollars on the side, like it's a no-brainer. And I can't say that there's anything that could have prepared me for the transition or like this new life or reality. I think the biggest thing was that track had to be a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And that had never been the case. And that was very hard at first. I remember making the team 2013. We're practicing before World Champs. And I'm at a session like, I really wish that I didn't make this team because I do not like this. I don't like having to train all the time. Like, I don't like that I don't get to see my family. It was just like a huge shock, and just like, wow, like this is my life. This is my reality. So I think after that year, just kind of finding balance and like what I needed to do to not only stay focused on the track, but also just feel like normal and not like this was all encompassing. I learned how to do that over the years. And I feel like now I finally figured out like what works for me and how to find that happy medium between, yes, this is my career, this is my profession, this is something I love to do, but I don't want it to be like my everything and my all, if that makes sense.
What's so interesting to me is I remember meeting you in 2013 in Moscow on that world championship team, but like I just assumed that this was like all a part of the plan. Like, because I remember kind of seeing you as a prepster, and it was like, yeah, this girl is the next best thing in the 800. And then you came to Moscow and you medaled, or you were our only finalist.
Yeah, I got 6. Well, we had 3. All 3 of us made it.
But you were our highest finisher.
I think I got upgraded to 4th now because 2 of the girls
Mm-hmm.
Got Alicia and Brenda were silver and bronze now.
But never once did I think that like this wasn't a plan, but it was something that just kind of happened for you. And I think what's interesting and something that people should pay attention to is that it sounded like you were just focused on having fun and performing well. You know, like, oh, I
Yeah.
want to go to Moscow, as Kori pointed out, like I'm gonna go on this trip instead of going to college. But it still wasn't driven by like I'm gonna go be this professional runner. And and I think Kori and I have talked about this culture of like everybody wanting to go pro out of high school, and I don't think people realize the level of work, B, the transition, how hard it is, how difficult it is. And I remember my mom telling me
God-given talent.
it's a God-given talent, but also like if you stay focused on what matters, which is really your performance and you being in the moment, all that other stuff will happen and comes. And you're asking for something that, quite frankly, do you know if you even want that? Because then you're saying it. Like I was training for the world championships and I was like, why is this my life? Why do I do this? So I think Kori and I get the question, and we're kind of like, there's only a handful of people out there who have done it successfully, but ultimately you're the person that's doing it. So I wonder when you get that question from high schoolers, because I'm sure you do, what's your advice to them? Because we can say, oh, you should go to college. You should, stop focusing on that. It doesn't always work out. But coming from the person who's done it, what are your words of advice?
I think it's always to just do what's right for you. And I think do what makes the most sense for you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's great to have dreams. And that's one thing that I look back and I reflect on. And I'm like, I wonder like how good I could have been or would have been at like younger, or even as I've been going on this journey, if I actually like had bigger aspirations or dreams. And I think it may have pushed me a little bit more. But I think the most important thing is to literally just be patient, have fun at what you're doing. And it shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be taxing. It's going to be hard, but like emotionally, I think it's a really fine line between going after your dreams and like going after something hard and it being exhaustive. And I feel like it gets there really quickly. And sometimes you don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
Another, I feel like super big part to like why I've been successful is just like the people that I've had around me who've been patient with me, gentle, and just brought me along slowly. And I think it's been a slow climb to kind of get to where I am. And that's been super collaborative with my family, my coach, my agent, even my sponsor, like through rough years, like they've, stuck by me. And it's just like literally having a good support system to kind of get you through. When we see athletes on the track, we just see them, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems like it's a one-man show, but it's really not. It's not.
There's a whole support staff and cast behind the scenes. Yeah.
And I think it also is important to like recognize it's different when track is your like passion and just something you do on the side. And then when it switches to this is my job, this is how I pay my bills, this is how I support my lifestyle. And there are people who are depending on me to come through. And I also wanted to point out that although she did not compete in the NCAA, my friend still got her degree, okay, because education is key. But let's continue talking about your pro career. And I want to talk about a pivotal moment. I feel like something that pretty much changed your life forever. And dare I say is the bedrock of your success. Your first Diamond League. Let's talk about what happened there.
So my first Diamond League, how I even got there was kind of like a funny story. So my best friend, Sherlyn, we had scheduled to like go see a movie. So she was on her way up there and I'm getting ready to go. And I told my coach, I'm like, hey coach, like I'm about to go to the movies. And he's like, but don't you have aren't you leaving soon for London? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure my flight's tomorrow. Like it's straight. And he's like, just please check for me. So I check my itinerary and my flight is in like 2 hours. So of course, he surprisingly he was so like chill about it. I thought he would be like, "Oh my gosh, like where's your head at? You're not focused. Like what are you doing?" He's like, "All right, just go get your stuff and I'll take you to the airport." And so I threw my uniform in my bag, didn't pack no gel, Lord Jesus, the pics from that race. My hair looks crazy, but packed my stuff, got on the flight, made it to the meet, and oddly enough, that was the first time Kori and I met. We were roommates.
I am done. Okay, go ahead with
So I get to my room and I saw like a paper with her name on. I was like, okay, so this is my roommate. And I usually don't watch like, well, especially at the time. Now I'm a little bit better at it, but I didn't really watch track like that. But for whatever reason, I saw her race at NCAA's. And so when I Googled her, I was like, oh, I think this is definitely the girl that just won. Ooh, she's a baller. Like, she's so lit. Cool, that's my roommate. But then like this person came in that didn't look like her. I was just like, I think this is her, but she's smaller than she looks on TV. And like she looks very like sweet. And I don't know if this is her. So I Googled again. I did a little cross comparison. I'm like, okay, cool. Like this is who my roommate is. And we hit it off. Like we were going back and forth, like watching Awkward Black Girl. Like that was our series at the time. And we got like so comfortable that by at the end of the trip, she's like, oh, like let me use your phone. I have to like look something up. So she goes to look it up. And of course, on my internet page is like her. And she's just
awkward.
exactly.
Why are you Googling me?
She was like, what is this? I'm like, I didn't know if you were you. You look like you, but I wasn't sure. So I needed to cross reference. But it was an awkward like exchange. But it was like I feel like a good foundation of like what the rest of our friendship has looked like of just very fun, silly, genuine. And yeah, my first Diamond League really set the tone for like the rest, what I came to expect from the rest of the Diamond Leagues.
That's what you expect from the rest of the Diamond League, because this question in itself, like I'm thinking like, yeah, I had like this breakthrough performance, but Kori is asking the question and prefaces it with, it changed her life because you met Kori on this trip.
It's never the same. Honestly, I upgraded your life. It's been better ever since you met me.
That was definitely I knew the direction she was going.
Here's the thing. Before you met me, you hadn't won an outdoors U.S. championship. Then the next year, we won our first U.S. outdoors championship within 5 minutes of each other. And it's like, is that a coincidence? I think not.
All right, I'm going back to the script. So tell us a little bit about your racing mentality. Like, what are you thinking? Are you thinking? Has it changed since the 18-year-old girl who stumbled upon a professional career to now the more seasoned veteran? Talk to us.
And I would like to preface this. I would also like you to include how you prepare for a race, because I think that's important to understand who Ajee Wilson, the athlete, is.
Okay. So when I first started, maybe my first 3 years, definitely like one of the highlights of my first year was making the final for outdoor nationals. Top 3 made the team, and my coach's instructions were like just try to get third. And I feel like for some people that's kind of weird of you want your athlete to win, you want your athlete to like go big, to go for it. And he's always been super good at just being practical and also giving me enough that I can handle like mentally. So having that goal of like, okay, just stay close. All you have to do is get third was easy for me to kind of process. And at nationals, making a team, like third is as good as first. Like you live to fight another day. So that was kind of like the trend, like the first 3 years. It was stay close and then finish hard and just see how many people you could beat. And my first year I ran in Stockholm, and that was the goal. At 200 to go, I found myself in second, and I'm just like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like I'm supposed to be in the back. and then I'm supposed to kick. Like, what's happening? And it was a pivotal moment because I feel like that's where I realized, okay, like you can run in a different way. Like you can hang and then you can kick as well. Like you don't have to be so far back. And so I think from there it started to shift to where I was a little bit more in the mix. I was a little bit more confident in leading. I was a little bit more confident in going with the faster pace. And I think as I've just gotten better, as I've trained better and um, practice has prepared me for races, I've just gotten more confident in that. And when I get out, if I'm in the lead, I'm comfortable just staying there. But 9 times out of 10, that's like not the goal. I'm just like out and see where I am and figure it out and kind of roll with the punches. But um,
I think that's really important in the 800 because it's a very tactical race, you know? Like me and Natasha, we're used to just like, you know what your race plan is. It doesn't really matter what happens. You're in your own lane and you can just execute. Whereas like the 800, I feel like there's a lot more gamesmanship. And what I've learned from you is like, and I can appreciate about you is like, no matter how the race is going, I feel like you stay very calm, collected, and figure it out. And you're able to just like adapt. And I feel, which is like, I think is a strength of yours because I think sometimes if you get caught up in like, this is how the race is supposed to go, and the race doesn't go that way, some athletes might get in their heads and be like, oh, snaps, and they're out of it. And where you're like, okay, like, if I can get out, I can also kick with the best of them. I can also, you know, like you know how to make moves and decisions.
And I think one of the things that my coach is also good at, he's a student of the sport. So before, I would say this was like an intermediate period, but from when I first started to kind of like to where I am now, where we go into a race and he'd say, okay, these are the people that you're racing with. Like you shouldn't be no worse than fourth, or like, this is how I think this person is going to run. So in case it goes this way, this is what you should do. If it goes this way, this is what you should do. So I kind of always have like 3 or 4 alternate like race plans. So I'm not just like shocked or surprised if, of course, things happen, but most of the time I'm like he's just, they call him the Jedi Master. I refuse to call him that, but they call him the Jedi Master just because of how good he is at understanding situations, understanding racing, understanding like how people compete. And so in that regard, like I feel comfortable. And then what we do in practice makes me know that, like you said, Kori, it's like I can finish, I can go with a faster pace. So I'm just like more prepared when I go into a race, so I can comfortably like just vibe.
And to highlight how good you are when things go wrong. Because everyone knows I get very stressed out when you run. It's our problems. The number of races I have had to see you finish a race with only one shoe on, Adidas, if you don't make this girl some Velcro spikes, you made the Olympics with one shoe on.
I don't know what happens. Well, I know what happens. I have very large but narrow feet. So sometimes they just a little bit of pressure and they're done. I triple double tie my shoes, but yeah. You gotta.
Why are you being weird to me? That's me out.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, I was talking about how you prepare mentally for a race because I feel like everyone knows Natasha, she says she's a lioness, she's the diva. I run on hatred and rage. And I feel like you are so cool, calm, and collected to the point where this girl takes a nap before her race, and it once again stresses me out. But I feel like you're very zen, very peaceful. You can also talk about your little special treat that you have before your race to give you a little extra energy boost. This is high level elite tips we're giving you guys.
Yeah, so she's alluding to the fact that I take naps before I race, and initially it started as like 2 things. One, I read this article about like power naps and how if you take a nap for like 20-25 minutes before you're about to do something or take a test, it gives you like an extra boost of energy, like focus, clarity. So I started trying it out, and what I realized too is that if you are asleep, you cannot be nervous. So that became why I'm like, all right, I don't know if this power nap thing is working, but I definitely know I don't have time to be nervous because I'm asleep. So it became like if I was super nervous, so even now, like if I'm nervous, I'm like, okay, where's my Nixon? Where's my blanket? I'm taking a nap. And um it just helps me stay calm. I feel like if I don't know that I've ever I feel like maybe once or twice in my career was I like hype before a race. And those moments were usually my coach is just like, yeah, I think you're ready. Like you've been running well, like go get it. And it's not much, but because sometimes he's a man of few words, I'm like, oh, if he said I'm good, like I'm about to ball out. And that's when I get like hype. But then the reverse is I'm a little too aggressive and I might go too early. But I feel like generally I like to be calm. I like to be chill, but then I like a little burst of energy. So since I was a kid, when I played soccer before games, my mom would like before she called me over to the sideline, she's like, "Hey, you need some supercharge?" And again, it was just like mental, of like to give you more energy. And she'd have like a Snickers or like a lollipop, some piece of candy. And I was like, "Yeah, mom, like I need my supercharge before I run, before I play soccer." So as I've just gone through sport throughout my life, it's always like a little snack or a piece of candy or chocolate or Jolly Rancher um,
Some
before I
sugar,
compete. Yeah, just a little sugar.
which
A
is not a
little.
bad thing. Glucose right
Yeah.
before a race is if you do it right.
Before
Yeah.
the
Right.
before after a race. Let me tell you something. Ajee said on her first meet she forgot to bring her hair products. I'll tell you what is always in her suitcase: some candy. Okay,
Hi,
Somewhat.
Kori.
candy. She
Oh,
keeps Jolly Ranchers. She likes this. She likes Star. She likes a lot of sour candy. So if you guys are looking for a nutrition plan, hit Ajee Wilson up. She's got all your dietary needs. But what I really do, because I feel like this also goes into how you approach your diet, but also just how you approach athletics in general, is something that I hate that you preach to me, because Ajay is always trying to make me a better person, and it gets my nerves. But she is always preaching balance. You always talk about how you want to have balance in your life. And that doesn't mean things have to be, you have to be 50-50 on things, but just finding like what works for you. Can you just talk about like kind of your philosophy when it comes to like being a balanced, full-fledged human being?
Yeah, I can't take credit. It's definitely how my parents kind of raised us. It was always, I don't care what you're doing, what you choose to do, you have to do something. Like every season, like you need to be involved in something. And so growing up, it was always a variety of things we tried. It was orators, we did speech competitions, pageants, sports, like youth clubs, a myriad of different activities. And so that had always been just what I was used to and how I just found, I guess, like happiness. And so through high school, there was a weird period where I feel like my parents, my coaches wanted me to be a little more serious. And we like bumped heads a bit. I quit for like 2 weeks my sophomore year over the character committee. They would not let me go to my meetings. And I'm like, well, if I have to miss this for practice, I guess I just won't practice. I guess I just won't run. And so from there, and I think as I've just gotten older, it's like there's always a way to find a perfect marriage. Not perfect, a good balance of, not just being so engrossed into one thing. That doesn't mean you give any less to it. That doesn't mean you don't love it as much. I just find things more, I just find life more rewarding when I just have a few things going on. Not a lot, because I'm also a pretty chill person, but um, I need a little variety. Yeah.
Can you tell people what some of that variety looks like? I feel like you're very involved in your community. Even today, we were on FaceTime, and I was like, "Are you ready for Taco Summer?" And she's like, She had like 1,000 boxes outside her house because she has spikes for kids in her community. But always feel like you're very involved in your community. Can you tell people what you do, friend?
I try to be, and I think one of the reasons why I try to be is because I remember distinct moments of growing up where not even track or sport related, but older kids came back and they talked to me or I saw them and I was inspired. Like even the high school that I went to, it was a Votex school that wasn't like my home high school. There was a girl who went there. She came back. She talked to us, and it was like, okay, I want to do this. She went to school for bio. It was like, I'm interested in science. I'm interested in medicine, and it was just like so many people around the way who've inspired me. So I think it's important sometimes that people just need a spark. Kids just need a spark, and if I can just be that. You just never know how it can affect someone, how it can change the trajectory of their life because I know how what those moments did for me and to me. And so I feel like a lot of the things that I try to get involved with are around kids. I love kids. I'm a big kid myself. And yeah, I just try and help out wherever I can or whenever someone DMs me or messages me like, "Hey, I've got this going on. Do you want to participate?" And as long as it allows, because although I'm preaching balance, like track is my priority. I know that's why I'm in the position that I am in. I try to just be available and be present in any ways that I can.
Aren't you on a board of some sort?
I'm on the lingo board, elementary school, like friends. It's not a board, but it's like our own little friends group that helps the school get. So far, we're working on like Lingelbach Woods, which is their outdoor like science activity center, and fundraising for like an outdoor play space for them. These are two projects that we're working on right now.
I called on you a few years ago too, and you were like, "Sure, I'll be there. I'll even write a check." I was like, "I ain't need your money, but thanks, girl."
Yeah,
NHF appreciates it. So
love.
I know you're not blowing smoke. You genuinely do what you can for the community, and I think all three of us can speak to our experiences that have touched us and placed us here, and wanting to pay it forward to the generations to come. Excellence is the standard here at Track Girl Summer, and we each individually do our things to plant seeds for the generations to come. I want to take this question from the audience. Do you plan on moving up to the 1500 eventually? We're seeing a lot of some distance runners, middle distance runners moving up. Would that ever be a thought for you or an option?
I feel like every year I'll mention like, yeah, I'm doing more 15s. And it'll be this big deal of Ajay's moving up to the 1500. And I don't have any immediate plans on that. When I first started running, I guess when I first started getting serious in high school, I was definitely a better miler than I was 800. And I always thought the mile was going to be my thing. I love the mile more than I love the 800. Um, so I think as I get older, I feel like as I phase out of, as you get slower, you kind of move up to the 15. But,
For you, a
but
lot of things, not one of them.
the way these girls are running now,
Well, you're not getting slower, but
just like foot speed wise, like if you want to be more strength based, like you can move up. But I definitely would like to try it out at some point. When it kind of just depends on how the season plays out.
mm-hmm.
We're very much like a race by race type group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How were you able to deal with training during the pandemic? Because I know you were not playing, you were warming up on the other side of the track with your teammates. You had a mask on wherever you went. Like, I appreciate because I feel like you were
like me.
Yes, I definitely annoy my teammates. This was before I guess we got shut down, but I was very much like, oh, 6 feet, back up, please. Can you do your drills over there? Yeah, I was just very worried. I was super concerned. And I was concerned about like the people around me. So my coach is older, and I'm just like, okay, we gotta tighten up because I'd hate for anything to happen to him, and anybody that like I care or love, or even those that I don't. I just took it very seriously, and so maybe for like the first 2 weeks, I just didn't do anything. I barely left the house. Even when I started back training, I'd go at like 6 to the trails. And it was weird because there was no one on the streets, and I was still like, oh my gosh, am I safe? And you are, but so we didn't meet from maybe like March until mid-June. And then we started back kind of training maybe twice a week and then 3 times a week together It was very much just kind of go with the flow. I knew I wasn't going to race at the end of that season. I knew I wasn't going to get on a plane. I did not have the mental strength to do so. So it was pretty much just train, try to maintain as much fitness as you can, and just get ready for the next year and see what happens. So it was definitely difficult, but because that pressure of I knew I wasn't going to race wasn't there, there was a little bit of ease in just training to get better. And also, one thing I noticed was I like training alone. I feel like I've always been a, I need my teammates, I need to vibe, I need to chit chat. Like I love a good little kiki in between our warm up. But I enjoyed like the long runs by myself, a few workouts by myself, and that was something that I kind of discovered through the pandemic.
I think that that's cool that like I think we've all everybody's been impacted by the pandemic, right? And we've seen a lot of people be negatively impacted because a lot of people need that kind of interaction that you mentioned. But I was like you. I was like, stay 6 feet away. I have my kid. My mom lives with me. My brother's with me. But also like I was like, COVID or not, like there are other diseases. Like, why are we sitting on top of each other? Like before the panini, I was like, personal space, like why are you up in my face, But I think the pandemic definitely Kori's looking like, yes, you. Yes, you, Kori. Yes, you.
Yes, major offense.
But like we needed the pandemic to tell us like y'all need to be washing y'all hands, wear a mask, stay out of people's face. Like, come on. But I think it's cool also that like you figure that out about yourself that like I don't need to have training partners. I can still get the job done by myself and just have a good time by yourself. I think a lot of people found that it was hard to spend time alone, which is another issue that we have to work through, but some alone time actually isn't that bad either. So that's pretty cool that you were able to find that. I didn't mean to click on that. I'm sorry. You can answer that if you want to or not, but sorry.
I was gonna say, I didn't know if I could see the comments or not. I don't still train with Raven. She left like shortly into the pandemic, and it was very sad. I miss my friend, but we still, keep in touch and, try to connect when we're at meets or through FaceTimes.
Y'all was turning up the other day.
First of all, that's business.
I'm putting the business out. Listen, it was on the Instagram. We can report on it here at Track Girl Summer, okay? They was twerking. They was cute. They was out in them streets, okay?
It was. They were on the sidewalk. It was very safe.
It was safe, but
Even had a birthday, I had to go, celebrate my friend and celebrate the birthday. And one thing you can expect from Raven Rogers is just class, extraness, and it done to perfection. So it was a really fun time. It was a really fun time.
It looked fun. I was low key jealous, but I was like, even if I was there, Auntie can't do those things anymore.
No, but we had the aunties turn. The aunties were turned.
Ajee is like Ajee's favorite thing to do when she goes out is to get people involved in a shenanigan. So like she will make sure if you're not dancing, you'll end up on the dance floor.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna ask you something serious.
I'm actually nervous.
No, I feel like me and Natasha have discussed, the pros, the cons of, competing against women with these higher testosterone levels with DSD. However, like, we have never had to like actually go head to head. And you've actually experienced having, to race Caster, to race Francine.
I was about to say another women, yeah.
Yeah, and other women. And I would love to just, I don't know if, I'm not asking you whether you think they should compete, shouldn't compete. That's because that's really not, up to you to decide. But I just would like to know, like, one, like how you mentally prepare to race them. and what that was like for you, or whatever you want to say on it.
Whatever
but
you're comfortable
I'm
talking
gonna keep
about.
it vague, keep it open. But I feel like it's important to get opinions from people who are actually in the situation, instead of us who are really looking from the outside in.
Yeah, it was. I feel like I came on the scene at the start of everything. So my first Diamond League final 2013, I think, was the first year that they said that people who have DSD have to take, I'm not sure what they have to take, honestly, but they had to do
I believe
something.
it's actually birth control. It's hormone regulators, but I believe it's birth control or something very similar to birth control. Yeah.
Yeah, so Castor ran, and I think she ran like 2:03. She didn't do too well. And after the race, she's like, "Hey, what's up? Like, you want to cool down?" I was like, "Okay, cool." So we cooled down, we chit chatted. She's super funny, and so my experience was very much like whatever the rules are, like that's what I'm focusing on, and that's how I'm gonna compete. So I kind of like blocked out any of the other noise because I felt like if I did, and if I felt like I was at a disadvantage, then I wasn't gonna, like, you're not gonna commit as much. You might be a little bit more intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, it was very much just like we're just out here racing, and I'm not doing better because I'm not working hard enough, and I just need to boss up, and I just need to commit. And I feel like that pulled me to faster times, that pulled me to better races because I didn't think that I didn't think that they were inherently better than me. I just thought that they were better than me. And I had to beat them just like everybody else, you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, that was kind of just how I approached it. And any other way, I just think would have been intimidating, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to be as competitive as I was. And I'll never forget, like, 2017 World Champs. Those are one of the one races where I said my coach like low key hyped me up, and he's like, you've been training great, you've been training well. Castor just ran 3 rounds of the 1500. Like, if you feel good, like just go for it. And with 300 to go, in my head, I'm like, wow, like I'm about to be world champ. Like that's so crazy. I feel great. Like, let me go for it. Like when I tell you I was on one, and because I was like I just committed. I had a little burst. Me and Sab were like fighting for a good 100. And instead of dialing back, I'm just like, no, I just have to break her. Like I just have to keep pushing. And it didn't turn out that way. With like 60 to go, I blew up. But in my head, like that wasn't something that was hindering me. That wasn't something that was gonna hold me back. Like I was just out there competing, and um, the same energy that I would give anybody else was the same energy that I gave them.
I love that, friend. You're so dope. Like, yeah. I just love how you're like, I didn't even break her. Because I think a lot of athletes would have been like, okay, like let me not try. Like it would be very easy to just like write it
yourself off. Mm-hmm.
And then just be like, well, let me just beat the rest of the field and like have this consolation prize. But the way you approach it, I feel like is I don't know, just what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a true champion mindset.
And it's a great way to race. And holding yourself accountable to like that standard.
Yeah, holding yourself accountable, but also like quieting the noise of like, I don't have any control over that. Neither do those women. So I'm just going to boss up and go out there and race against these women. And it actually makes me think of, this is a great segue for me to plug our guest on Friday, Lashinda Demas. Although the story I'm about to tell is kind of apples to oranges, and I want her to explain some more when she comes on Friday, because this is something where in Ajee's case, the women that you are competing against, they are naturally, we'll say, blessed with higher testosterone levels, versus Lashinda, her 2012 medal, which she still not hasn't received, should have been upgraded. But I remember having a conversation with her, and she said something very similar to what you said, where it's like, I can't focus on the next person and what they're doing. All I can focus on is what I'm doing, and I'm going to boss up. And I know that, whatever is happening over there, I just have to work even harder.
Right.
So I think that it just speaks to the championship mindset that you have, that like, Caster's a great person. Wambui a great person. These are people, and we're competing against each other. And like Kori said, like, it's not my decision to make, but all I can do is show up and run, you know? So I love it. And there are women out there that are getting caught up on stuff that you ain't got no control on, when at the end of the day, you just got to lace up your shoes and go out there and run.
Yeah, because I feel like if you have a victim mentality, you'll end up being a victim. You know what I'm saying? And you can cry all you want till you're blue in the face. If the rules ain't gonna change, the rules ain't gonna change. So you might as well just figure out how to win anyway. So
yeah,
I applaud you, friend, because
it's inspiring.
Another approach other than to just like, because at the end of the day, when the race finishes, you get the place that you get, regardless of whether the rules should be what they should or what they shouldn't be. So you just gotta play the game, participate, and go after it. Friend.
That I really do love my friend, because you have, you're 2 years younger than me, but you have a real wisdom about you, and like, you have a lot of grace. I don't know why we're friends, because you're
No, Kori is the sweetest, nicest. She just, Natasha, she just tries to, give a little heat to back people off. But Kori's she's the Kori monster, but she's also a teddy bear. She's a sweetie.
I usually don't mind though and talk so disrespectfully about me, friend.
I wouldn't lie.
Can you be quiet so I can say nice things about you? No, but like, it's very genuine. It's very real. I love that you can support people and be genuinely happy for them. When you were talking about 2017, I remember. I mean, I feel like a lot of people had you slated to win, myself included. And when you didn't, and Raven passed you to get the silver, I remember you saying, like, you went over, you can tell it, but like, your reaction, why does it do this? I don't know. But I'll finish talking, and then I'll figure out what's going on with my camera. But can you just talk about that moment where you guys both had your flags? Because I think it's very telling of the type of person you are, and like how you can just be happy for other people in their moments. I think my battery died.
I think it was dual. So we finished. I was disappointed. I feel like my body kind of shut down. I didn't get the place that I wanted, but even in that moment, I was like, well, at least you got third. If you got fourth, it would have been worse. So at least you got a medal. And Raven got silver. And I go to say like, oh my gosh, friends, we got medals. And I could tell that like she was dimming down like her mood and her excitement, because I think she was probably like, oh, like, are you okay? And I'm like, friend, this is the once in a life, not potentially, but you never know. Like, this could be a once in a lifetime moment. You don't get to have these experiences. People run their whole careers like without medaling. So like, thank you. I appreciate you, but take your little flag. We're about to run around these stands, say your smiles, do your waves. And it was just like, I didn't want her to not be able to enjoy her moment because she was worried about it. Because even though I was disappointed, like, I still was happy that at least she got a medal. Like, that quickly I was able to process. So I think it's also, I think, telling to like relationships that I've made with people who run the 800 over the years. I feel like people are always like, oh, but like, how are you friends with like your competitors, or are you guys really cool? And I think it's just a shared you on a shared struggle bus. So it's like
it's a struggle bus. You're right. You are right.
I just respect what we do, and I respect anytime somebody does it better, because if someone beats me, like, I have no reason to feel ill at anyone but myself, because I didn't do enough. Like, they did their thing. The reason I'm in my position is because I didn't do enough. So that's not like someone else's burden to like bear, or for me to feel like it's their fault. So I think that's why I'm able to kind of separate and genuinely just appreciate other moments people are able to have too, and myself.
And I don't know if it was after the final or if it was during the rounds, but I remember seeing you and Francine like doing your cool down lap together, and I was like, what is going on right now? Like, this would never happen in my event. Like, y'all are like kumbaya.
I remember 2018 after Worlds, we had like, I was really trying to get her that year. And there was like 3 surges in the races. And after we finished, I got second, she won. And we're cooling down. I'm like, dang girl, like I thought I had you. She was like, I thought you did too. But she's like, I was laid out after. And I think there's just like that respect that comes with, yeah, we're really out here working. This is hard, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. Real recognize real.
Real
yes, right.
Real.
Yeah, right. I love telling these type of stories because, you know, and I don't appreciate you, but you know me, I feel like they don't appreciate you enough, and I'm very biased, and I'm like, y'all just knew how dope of a person my friend was. But that is so real that when you said you didn't want her to dim her light just so that you could feel better about yourself. Like, I think that is so humble of you and so real of you, and like how you are an actual genuine friend. That's why I keep you around, because, you know, not everyone sees the world that way, and I appreciate I won't tell people what happened when I won my world's medal. Maybe I will. This girl was bawling.
Yes, I was in the warm-up area watching from the screen, and I was like nervous. I get more nervous watching my friends than I do like for my own races. And she's running and they're coming to the end, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's about to win. Then she won. I'm like, oh my gosh, she won. And this Cuban guy turned around and was like, oh, is that your friend? I'm like, yes, that's my friend. She just won. She won. She's world champion. And I'm bawling in the middle of the warm up just because I was so happy. I was so excited. And there's like 2 levels. If I'm really mad, there's tears. If I'm really happy, there's tears. Like there's no in between. Like that's the emotion. I was so proud of her and so happy for her, and it got to me. It just cracks
me up because I'm like, this girl's supposed to be like doing her workout, and she's over in the warm track crying, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Thank you for loving me. Yeah. But yes, I really appreciate your heart, friend. It's very genuine, very pure. Do we have any more questions for you, Natasha?
I don't think so. The comment section is kind of going back and forth with their own chat, but if we have any other questions. Oh, I did see one question that you were talking about something else. Your thoughts on Athing Mu's future and her as a competitor, if you would like to speak on that.
Shout out to Jersey.
I was about to say that.
Somebody also said that too, that Jersey's showing out in the 800.
800, 400 hurdles. Jersey just always comes with strong talent, strong runners. And just watching her progress, I think over the past few years, I remember seeing her come up through age group. And like, I think she did like 4 events from the 2 to the 1,000. I'm just like, dang, baby girl's a problem. Let's hope she doesn't decide to do the 8. And that's real. That's real. And this was like years ago, because like you can tell when people are super talented and like they're coming up. So it was always, and I feel like
has it, yeah.
When she was in college, it was like, I know she's gonna be here in no time. So I think there's that element as a joke, but also just elevating American distance running, elevating Black distance women who are running distance, and also just getting myself together so that I can be back in the mix. Like, it's exciting to be competitive and go at it with women that you respect and who are doing their thing. So I love Athing. I'm super glad that she was able to end the 800 meter Olympic drought. Definitely wish that it was me, but hopefully in the next 3, I'll have a chance at continuing the legacy.
Yes.
Okay, girl. Okay.
All my favorite
She
people.
real classy, base. You can tell us the truth off the. No, I'm just kidding. Ajee meant all of that.
It's the truth. It was the truth. It was like literally from 2, 4, 8,000. I'm like, let's see as time goes on. But
She's
I
gonna
think
have to specialize at some point, right?
yeah. And as she got older, I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be the 8. Let me just get it together. Keep doing my thing. Be prepared.
But I wanted to highlight how you said, especially Black women in distance running, because I feel like on the American side, there isn't a lot of us when you really think about it. I remember me, you, and Mariel Hall were on a call, and my mom was like, "Oh, who's that?" And I was like, "Yeah, like Mariel's like the only Black girl that I can think of on the American side, like that be in the 5K and the 10K consistently making teens." And I do think I see a big surge of Black women in the mid distance races. I remember when it was you. Who else was on that team? You, Raven. When you guys ran the world record, was the world record in the 4x8 indoors.
Me, Raven, Shar, and Krishana Williams.
Yeah, I was Kendra's on the other team, and I just remember saying like, wow, like I don't think we could have always put together a relay team like that. I do feel like I see a lot more Sammy with a lot more Black women running distance races, and I think you are a part of it. I think because you have to see it to believe it, and I'm just excited to see us taking up more space in these events. And I think it's really dope, friend. And I think you're part of this movement.
I took the baton from the Clark sisters, from Alicia, from Trinaire Mosier, just seeing, I would say probably especially Alicia, like seeing her do her thing, and being from Jersey, like everyone always talked about Joetta Clark. So just knowing that was like, those are people that I had to look up to, and those are people that I was aspiring to be like. I would say definitely through high school Joetta. I know it matters. And like you said, I'm glad to be a part of, passing on the torch.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of depth from the U.S. And I think it's really dope. Shout out to Alicia with that yellow flower.
Also, rewinding to her races, there was a lot of athletes who weren't clean, and I think her legacy kind of isn't like able to be appreciated or respected as much, because it was a little bit dimmed because of the people she was competing against. And if they weren't there, like, she would have been like next level, just dominating. Yeah,
I think that's why she's so passionate about clean sport, because she experienced it firsthand.
And like, I know she got to, I forget what championship she got to fly out, and it was like her whole family got to fly out so could get, but like real talk, like that's not the same. It will never make up for the amount of money she lost, like the moment that was stolen from her.
Shout out to Alicia. We love her at Track Girl Summer. Sorry, I'm not the host, but
you are. you are involved in more ways than folks know.
Let's be real. Amanda, I just put that together what you just said. But yeah, most of my fit checks have come because of Ajee. She is my stylist. Or am I like her Barbie doll, where she just is like, I would like to see you in this look with this hair?
And I appreciate you.
Do you think the 800 meter record can be broken?
I mean, yes, because people run fast, things didn't happen, but I do think that it's definitely out there. Is it something that I have ever like thought that I would be able to do? I'd never entertained that thought. No.
Oh, you know what? I'm like, I didn't even put it down the notes, but I forgot. Can you tell the story? Because the story of you breaking the American record in Monaco, because that was one of my favorite. That might be one of my favorite like moments of your career. I enjoyed it. I was there in the stands. I gotta watch it.
I heard a story and I'm like, did something happen?
No, but it was like, and Papa D was there. It was like, I enjoyed that. Me personally, it was a highlight for me.
Yeah, that was one of the other 2 or 3 races where I feel like I was really tuned in and like more aggressive than I usually am. And it was kind of just like, all right, stay as close as I can. And then the last 200 before the race, my coach was like, if I forget who the girl was, but it was like, if this girl comes on your shoulder, like you just can't let her pass you. And this girl came up and it was like, we're at the front. Like, what am I supposed to do now? I can't let her pass me. So I just found myself like at the top of the turn, challenging for the lead. And I'm like, I don't know how I got here, but we might as well finish. And when we finished and I saw the time, I was just like, oh my gosh, I did not expect that. But it was kind of just one of those experiences where you're not really thinking, you're just running, you're being competitive, and you're in the moment, you're in the race. And like running for time has never been like throughout my whole career something that I've done. I kind of find it difficult to do actually. So it was just like, if you run for the place, if you try to beat everybody, your time's going to come. And I think that race was like the perfect example of that.
Yeah, you just kind of let it come to you. If you focus on the tacticalness, the execution, then the time will happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone asked, are you excited for all the championships coming up? Do you prefer one race over rounds?
I think you asked me this question like not too long ago, and I
did.
It's hard to compare them. It was you or somebody else. Your twin.
You assuming we have conversations all the time, and I'm like, that wasn't me.
Yeah. I think in championships, I do well with rounds. I prefer rounds. I would rather it be like 3 instead of like 1 all-out race at a champs. But I don't know. I feel like they're 2 different things. It's hard to pick. If y'all had to pick, what would y'all say?
I like rounds because I like to get into my rhythm.
Natasha?
I don't do one race.
Yeah, I like rounds too. Gives you more shots at getting it right.
That's true. The thing about rounds though too is though, if you get it wrong early, I feel like that's my biggest fear of getting out on the first round in any.
Mm-hmm.
Why you say?
Just as long as you make it to the first round, like you
live another day. Yeah.
Yes.
So you got to do it right the second day and the third day, kind of like a sudden death rule. But
I'm gonna take a breath.
Ajee.
I can't.
Y'all opened the door for me on that one. I had to throw that in there. But obviously we can chat with you all day. But
and I do. I spend a good portion of my day.
Yes. But we gotta wrap things up because
well, yeah, let's wrap things up. One, I just like to say thank you so much, friend, for coming on. I know you don't have any merch because I would have bought it already, but she does have Venmo. So if you guys want to, send a Black woman some money today.
But also you mentioned the spikes. Like, is there any initiative that you're supporting that we should be supporting, or tell us anything about that?
No specific plans other than like my home high school and my parents' alma mater back home. They're like right next to each other. But there were a lot. Shout out to Adidas. Like they really looked out, and we're gonna be able to hopefully reach out to a bunch of schools in Philly. I don't have a specific initiative. I know Jared Eaton does have one. Usually at World or at Nationals, he'll collect spikes. So I'm gonna reach out to him and just share the love. My living room is a whole mess. Was not expecting that many. So I'm excited to kind of help out and, give them away. Yeah.
Such a giving heart. We've got a request from Justin Forsett to come. We love Hustle Clean, so you might have to give your diary a clean hustler. But let's wrap it up. I just got a notification that my sugar's low, so got to take care of that. But I just passed out.
Did you not eat breakfast again?
I eat breakfast. It's just, I don't know. I'm still figuring this out. But thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back on Wednesday at 1 p.m. talking to Edric Floriel. And then we'll be back again on Friday talking with Shannon Demas, Coach Flo, and Ajee have a special bond. I think he loves her more than me. Make sure you follow me, the Kori Monster, on the things. Follow Natasha at Natasha Hastings on the things. Follow Ajee Lene. We'll see Ajee Lene though. Follow Track Girl Summer on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. You guys know the drill. We'll be back, same place, and actually same time. Don't get used to it. And remember, no matter what time of the year it is, it's always a Track Girl Summer, baby. Thank you, Ajee.
Thank you, Ajee. This was fun.
You look so different.
The other side, and I'm usually just a viewer. So thanks for having me, guys.
We'll have you back. Don't worry. You'll be back. All right, everyone, have a happy Monday. Bye.
I really love my friend.
I love